Baltic Sea adventure. Previously on Baltic Sea adventure, diving in Estonian waters continue.
He can find the wreck. Maybe 15 meters more.
We have some great weather and fantastic footage. Is this what a diving camera should look like?
You want to buy a camera? £5.
We visit one of the oldest lighthouses of the Baltic Sea, and the world's third oldest still working lighthouse, Korpu. Before leaving Hiiumaa, we have a good time with the divers. Carrie gets a friend to help take Pelagonia back to Finland. We hear the story of a real intact treasure boat, Raul Maria, deep in the Baltic Sea.
So the whole wreck.
Our Swedish technical diving team, Tor, Per and Lotta, arrived to the Finnish islands. Our adventure continues at the Finnish shores of the Baltic Sea. The Swedish technical diving team have joined us on our Baltic Sea adventure in the Finnish archipelago. Our diving boat Pelagonia was moored overnight at Korpastrom harbour. The kind people of Korpastrom gave us permission to moor at the end of the pier. It's an ideal position for loading all the diving gear. Boy, do we have a lot of stuff. After having just spent time with the Estonian sports divers in the Hiiumaa waters, we are quickly reminded how many gas bottles the Trimex divers need.
Alongside, yeah.
And then just the soft stuff, the soft bags now. Yeah.
Do you have some kind of rope or something? Or you have? Yes, yeah. That's what I thought that you would. And that's a good idea that you have those things.
It is.
Yep.
And they also bring along their underwater scooters. Tor Jørgensborg is an experienced technical diver and an underwater cameraman. We've already seen his underwater footage throughout the series. Tor's underwater filming friends are this Swedish couple, Charlotte Karlen and Per Lundström, both excellent technical divers. Charlotte, Lotta for short, works in IT. Per is a psychologist. Jari Lintukankari, Kimmo's old friend, joins us again for this trip. He's a diver and works for the Finnish army as an engineer. He'll be the captain of the ship. He took his sports diving gear along just in case his diving skills were needed. One single lonely air tank in a battle against 100 others. There are many approaches to diving.
We have some other wrecks to dive.
Yes, we have.
Here is the Utto map.
We have a quick planning session and tell the team about the wrecks close to the Utto island and the lost U-boat U479. Today the divers will dive the famous wreck of Park Victory, an American cargo ship sunk in a storm outside Utto. Jari tells the details.
Utto, where we are staying, and here is Park Victory. It's to the bottom 38 about.
Yeah.
It's quite nice looking, and the water is very clear. So for the filming purposes, you should be able to do quite nice images there.
Yeah. It's quite a big ship.
Yes.
150 meters or something.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch
on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
17.16 edelleen ollaan tällä. Jurmo kohti.
Producer Tony Radic has travelled from Tallinn, Estonia, to help us with the boat in the rubber rib. He owns a couple of boats by the Baltic anyway, and he's a navigator. It's good to have him on board. From inner archipelago, we'll be heading to the outermost year-round habited island of Finland, Utto. The Swedish name Utto means outer island in English.
Annetaan olla.
Hyvä.
Jai mate.
The vast Finnish archipelago consists of an estimated 20,000 to 50,000 islands, islets and rocks. People have lived on these islands for thousands of years. Fishing and fish processing, shipping, trade and tourism are the main income. There are around 60,000 permanent residents scattered around the archipelago. Most of them are Swedish-speaking Finns. Since summer cabins and tourism are the ever-increasing business, the population more than doubles during the summer months. We catch up with Per and Lotta and exchange our experiences during this summer.
And that was nice with Horst, and he was also talking about the life of the and it's like
first of all you have to be quiet because it's like a sound drum, so all the sound carries from the boat to the surface. So I was trying to ask them, what did you do when you didn't work? Well, what was that? So the answer was that we were queuing for the toilet.
The divers had their own camera gear with them, but they get interested in the extra camera casings we brought with us. Maybe they can do something useful with them. They start putting together a scooter cam from the materials we happen to have with us on board. We have small digital cameras with us, just in case they want to try something new and take another camera with them underwater. The filmmakers are Kimmo and Tanja. They are both from Finland but live in England. A big part of the archipelago belongs to the province of Åland, a Swedish-speaking autonomous and demilitarized part of Finland. This status goes way back. The archipelago is situated in a position of great strategic importance. Finns, Swedes, Russians and Germans have all had their eye on the islands during different wars. And during the Crimean War, even Anglo-French forces attacked Åland.
I think it's actually a strange a rock. Extremely strange.
In 1856, it was decided that the islands should not be fortified and remain independent, as a barrier between the many occupying forces. Not that no one wouldn't have tried, even after that. We are starting to get close to the wreck site outside Utto. We have the coordinates for the wreck, and it's even marked with a buoy. But the evening sun is shining so brightly and causing such glimmering that we just can't spot it. Lots of circling around ensues. It's amazing how even well-marked and known wrecks can sometimes be hard to find. The sea is a big place, and any distraction, wind, sun or rain, can make identifying the correct location very difficult.
Jari is calling the base and asking for the coordinates. We have the right coordinates now!
There's also a slight mistake in our information of the coordinates, but we find it eventually.
This is 1 degree.
Se on sama. 21 astetta, 24,3.
And now we try to, and then when we finish, we tied it in at both ends now. Yeah. So we did pretty good work, I think. Yes, absolutely.
And the happy Swedish divers do some exercise. I tried to call Tony, but he left his mobile phone here.
Okay, so just ringing here.
Yeah.
Den är bojad! Den är bojad! Den är bojad! Där! 2 stycken! Vi måste ligga mellan de där 2. Vi måste ligga mellan de där 2 bojarna. Vi måste ligga mellan de där 2 bojarna.
For years it's been forbidden to dive the wreck of Park Victory. It lies in the military zone not far from the Utto Coast Guard station. Jari, who works for the Finnish military, has organised for us diving permissions. But as soon as the divers start gearing up, we get a phone call asking if we have the paperwork in order. And of course we do, it's just a funny feeling that even out here at sea, somebody's watching us.
We need to get the boat to be absolutely still when we jump into the water, because otherwise we will never get all the gear down.
Yeah.
The boat goes like 2 knots.
Yeah.
Silloin mennään vastatuuleen ja lähelle punaista.
He say that he turns it against the wind and...
The divers start gearing up. They're like underwater spacemen and women.
So how do we get that thing in the water? Are you going to drop it off or?
Tor has put a black line on the outside.
Yeah.
You can try to just lower it down.
Jari! Mä luulen, että ne... Ilman vitsiä. Jaa. Tule! Kyllä, tää vaan.
Big American cargo ship Park Victory was anchored outside Utto, near the islet of Lillehammer. It was Christmas Eve in 1947. Park Victory was to spend the night and then continue to Helsinki. The pilot had already boarded the vessel. He was meant to guide the ship through the maze of the archipelago and the still uncleared Second World War minefields. But late that night a storm rose. The ship started to roll and the anchor chain broke. The ship drifted to rocks, started to leak and sink. Panic ensued. When lifeboats were lowered, others who had jumped into the sea were crushed. Some managed to swim to nearby rocks to wait for rescue. The people of Utto came to help and, risking their own lives, managed to save 38 men. The islanders opened their homes to the survivors and they spent that Christmas on the island. What a Christmas it must have been. 10 men died that night. The boat and film crew have a long wait while the divers dive.
Onhan ne päällä, kun mä oon veneessä käynnissä. On nyt ees.
The evening sun is setting when we moor at the Utto harbour. The divers unload the rubber rib. The scooter cam didn't work this time.
The precious baby.
Still alive.
The improvised construction fell apart.
Oh, this is the sole survivor.
Yeah.
There's still room for some product development there.
Did we get the right bottles for you?
It was exactly right.
We were doing like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mosquitoes love your legs.
I think
Oi! Just hit the camera. There's another one there. Oh, you hit it so that we got blood on
The first blood, yeah?
Yeah.
Rumble.
I think yes, we have electricity. Yeah. Happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Happy.
It's really beautiful, but all these mosquitoes.
It's a picture postcard evening. Again, Jari's army connections come to good use. We get permission to use the Utto army barracks as a base camp, as long as we promise to leave it the way we find it. No extra services are on offer. We didn't quite know what to expect, but the accommodation is really good. Big, clean and comfortable.
Drinks, everybody.
It's the last on the right is ours.
We start to prepare dinner right away. Everybody's really hungry by now.
Oh, you have your briefcase. So what do? You work at the Heineken.
Well, we can check out what we want for dinner if you want to.
Everybody settles down. We catch the evening news and the all-important weather report. It promises us a sunny day.
The weather will be great tomorrow.
Divers have a meeting about the next day's dive to Park Victory.
What was it's a really big and confusing wreck, I think.
Okay.
First time you've been there, it's not so easy to know where you are. The shallower parts, then the visibility was like 4 or 5 meters.
Only.
Yeah, but below that, down 20, 25, there was kind of maybe 8 meters visibility.
Because they say that it's kind of falling apart, that it's quite...
I think it is falling apart.
Yeah.
It has fallen apart. Everything above deck is collapsed or gone.
We could make 2 dives. To make
3 dives.
2 or 3 dives tomorrow. At 2 dives is enough. At the Park Victory, to make some good footage, underwater footage. It's like a double line this thick down to the wreck, so you can no problem at all tie the big boat to the line.
Exactly.
To learn more about the history of the Finnish archipelago, Tanja and Kimmo later visit the Maritime Museum Maritime in Turku. If there is one ship that symbolises the Finnish naval history, it must be the Suomen Joutsen, Swan of Finland in English. Maybe it's the name that evokes national romantic sentiments. Curator Jarmo Saarinen shows us the sights.
Suomen Joutsen, Swan of Finland. The ship was built 1902 in France in Saint-Nazaire.
In 1930, she was bought by the government of Finland to serve as a Finnish Navy training ship. She has made long sea voyages. During the war, she served as a depot ship for submarines and motor torpedo boats and mine-sweeping vessels. After the war, she was based in the Finnish archipelago near Utto and in the waters of Åland. Since then, she's been mainly used as a training ship for the Finnish Seamen's School. Thousands of students are familiar with her riggings. That is why she is so loved by the seafaring Finns. Now the Swan of Finland is a museum ship, moored in the Aura River.
In 1930 was to early 1960s.
Forum Maritime has vast displays, anything and everything to do with the Finnish naval history, and a good collection of old boats.
with very many similarities to ancient traditional boats and some quite modern. Young boys and girls have learned to sail with this kind of boat. It's called boy boat.
And there's also a lifeboat that was handed to Utto Island to be used for sea rescue operations.
Forum Maritime was a foundation and we started 1999. An exhibition in this hall, then 2002.
Turku, or Åbo in Swedish, has long ties with seamanship and shipbuilding, and is therefore a natural place for a maritime museum.
We are now in the Institute of Maritime History of local Swedish university, Åbo Academy it's called.
The museum also houses the University Institute of Maritime History and its library and archives. Divers, historians, researchers and wreck hunters come here to find about the Baltic Sea and sunken ships. Curator Thomas Willen shows us some of the treasures. Old photos, posters and maps are always fascinating. The early attempts to map the archipelago sea are bewildering. How anyone found their way through the maze of the biggest archipelago in the world using these maps is a mystery. The archives are climate controlled to preserve the old documents. Even in the age of internet and information age, there are certain books and resource materials that can only be found in certain libraries. Next morning, in outer islands and fantastic weather, the product development of the scooter cam continues. Primitive methods finally bring results. The round camera case just needs a staple support. The waters outside Utto are known as the graveyard of ships. There are many wrecks here. This beautiful summer sun can turn into fierce winter storms, and the numerous rocks make the sea difficult to navigate. At the wreck's site, lowering the boat's anchor is out of the question. The water is too deep. The plan is to anchor Pelagonia onto the wreck's buoy with a rope. The buoy is tied to Park Victory with a steel cable and should hold the boat in place as well. Easier said than done.
We have to do it again. I tried to brake earlier. What's your plan?
I have to make a bigger
Yes.
Can we give more rope?
Tour. Have you got enough rope to give them so that we can back?
Cross waves make getting hold of the buoy really difficult, and Lady Pelagonia is tricky to manoeuvre. It takes some time and effort, and there are some hairy moments, but finally we get there. It's important not to give up.
Are we kind of...
Yeah, now we're stuck.
We are stuck.
Yeah.
And stuck usually is bad.
No, this is in a good way.
This is good stuck. Yeah.
I think this will work. Oh, yeah.
Can you say it again? I think
this will probably work.
Okay. And you think also?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's on the tape.
Does it seem to be holding?
I think so.
Yeah, we're tracking the whole boat and
Yeah.
we're moving it. This is why it's not in the right location.
It is someone else.
Yeah, somebody else has been kind of moving it 100 meters that way and...
Sehän on niin, että vasta silloin kun alkaa sukellustoiminta.
Niin.
Lampan är kul. Lampan är kul.
Den här isbotten. Ja, det är den.
One of the gases the Trimex divers use is helium, and we all know what helium does.
This is such a hardcore male thing, the diving. Only those macho guys who do it.
The diving team is ready to go again, and we lower the scooter cam to them. Good luck to us all. Meanwhile, it's the old waiting game for the boat and film crew.
Did that work?
I think so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The divers had a good dive today,
Be careful with the lens.
and the scooter cam is still in one piece. Another successful day.
Oh.
Thank you.
Was the visibility better than yesterday?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
Quite a lot better.
Yeah, because it
think,
kind of looks like even...
The camera, the film from the scooter camera, I think will be excellent. We have to check that film.
Yeah. Was it a good dive?
It's really good dive.
Ready?
Yep. Well done.
The James Bond style.
Yeah.
The Utto harbour is a natural harbour and a safe haven from the open seas. It's the gateway to the Finnish archipelago. The harbour was used by fishermen and seal hunters since ancient times. During the last centuries, piloting and lighthouse keeping have been the permanent services. On a gorgeous day like this, it's hard to imagine that during winter months, the villagers are sometimes housebound for days and have to tie all their loose property down with ropes if they don't want their stuff to be blown out into the sea. The icebreakers keep the ferry connections going, and yet the life in these island communities can become pretty grim during the autumnal storms. But that's part of the charm and makes the islanders special. You've got to be multi-skilled to survive in these conditions all year round. There are only about 30 permanent residents on Utto, but the population is ever changing because of holiday and summer visitors, and the presence of the army and the coast guards.
Do we fire? You're hungry now.
Yeah.
Do we fire up the grill upstairs and do the sausages
Yeah, why
now?
not?
And,
That's
yeah.
perfect. Would
Yeah.
be one.
We'll start making sandwiches and salads downstairs. Yeah.
There.
Här.
Weather is good.
Sallad och bröd. Jag sa bara att servera till
Salad.
We have a grilled lunch at Pelagonia. Food always tastes better outside.
Was it okay?
Hannah, a local resident historian and an entrepreneur, pays us a brief visit to say hello. Her family goes back for generations, living in this island community. She writes about the history of Utto, caters for the visitors and makes tours. The island has a big army base, but this operation is winding down. And there are only a few army personnel left on the island, just like in many other army bases around the Baltic Sea. During these peaceful times amongst the nations surrounding the sea, armies are needed elsewhere.
Yeah, we watch the video and then we go.
Again, a peaceful evening at the base camp.
Then we go have a drink at the bar down the harbour.
Get
Yes,
your plates.
there's the kind of pole dancing place.
If somebody wants bread, but nobody wants it. At this. Irish.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, we have a lot of fun because the Estonian language is basically they have the same words that we
Yeah,
use
I
in
know.
Finnish, but they are totally different.
I know one word in Estonian.
Yeah,
Handkerchief.
which is taskurätti.
Tor transfers the Park Victory diving footage onto hard drive, so that we can all view it from the computer screen.
You want to see the video?
Tanja, Kari, video time. Do you have your ticket?
Yeah, check this one.
I threw that. Wasn't it a good shot?
That was
Nice, yeah. It didn't even touch him.
You tried.
You have.
Park Victory is a new dive site for Tor, Per and Lotta, and they were positively surprised. The American cargo ship is big, 150 meters long, and the scooters became handy. They make it a lot quicker to get from place to place and get an idea of the wreck. They were right. The scooter cam pictures are brilliant. Park Victory is quickly falling apart. First of all, it snapped in two when it sank, but since then the deterioration has been significant. Most of the chimneys and masts have collapsed, and the deck is in a bad state. These divers make an excellent underwater filming team. They have been diving together for years. They are really good at lighting the wrecks with their powerful underwater lights. This is the ship's bow. It's massive in a big ship like this, and gives you an idea of the scale of the wreck. Tor is filming with the main underwater camera. Per does fine work with the lights, while Lotta is the one handling the scooter cam. It's usually just Lotta and Per in the pictures since Tor is behind the camera. It's funny how the Baltic Sea can preserve old wood. At the same time, the half-salty water still manages to destroy steel cargo ships. The place of the wreck is also important. The deeper they rest, the safer they are from the high seas, packed ice and fishing nets. The position where Park Victory lies is open to all the elements outside the outer Finnish islands. Diving wrecks is dangerous, and diving broken down wrecks even more so. There's always a possibility of getting trapped. The divers look after one another.
Gary still remembers the Second World War.
This is Kimmo.
Well, you're older than me.
Late that night, our colleague, Kari Ketala, arrives from mainland Finland. Kimmo and Jari go to meet the ferry and film some night images.
Can't be sleeping.
Midsummer,
We'll have a night dive now.
Night dive?
Yeah, we're gonna make a night dive.
Oh my god.
Are you up?
Yeah. Time to get some,
You want to have proper salmiak?
some sugar to wake up. Yeah, do you have?
Yeah. Go crazy. welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. And then make him like the barbecue.
It's like I'm happy to
You were actually helping him.
Kimmo olikin laittanut sen rosetin siihen. Ei mä sano, että Kimmo was going
So many days
Who can swim and then still go like, oh, oops. Don't remember when I gave you the ropes.
Yeah.
I was bleeding.
Yeah, but I.
Yeah, you're blaming Jari.
So it was Jari. Lotta was saying that stop the boat when she was hanging to the buoy. I was like, go forward! So we get an excellent picture.
In the first place, we are here to look for the lost German U-boat, U479. But we hear from the Finnish diver Jussi Kassanen, whom we've already met during this series. He's just searched the collision site of U-boat U479 and Russian submarine Lembit. While we are waiting for the latest conclusions about the incident, we decided to dedicate the day to the sites at Utto. That's easily done since all the local attractions are only 5 minutes walk away.
So what you would do? Lighthouse first and then go by here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The candy-coloured lighthouse is a well-known landmark, and it is the first and the most southern lighthouse in Finland. The original lighthouse was blown to pieces during the Swedish-Russian War in the early 19th century. This building was built soon after that, in 1814.
Lighthouse Utto kutsuu ja kuuntelee.
We meet some enthusiastic radio amateurs. Although the outer islands are well connected to the mainland, these guys are prepared if disaster strikes. All radio amateurs out there, please contact Jeren. He is waiting for your call.
Sierra Mexico 5, Sierra India Charlie på engelska.
Yes. So we try to go to where we're going?
To the church.
As there was no church on the island, one of the upper floors of the lighthouse was refurbished as one. The twice-a-year visiting priest probably held the sermons, blessed the dead and christened the children all in one go.
Okay, let's sing. Like, can somebody conduct them, okay? Give us the notes.
You're the musician guy.
So, how do you like living here in Utto? Listen.
The lighthouse church is still in use, and it's a popular spot to get married, exotic and remote, and therefore romantic. Older people on the island started to complain about the stairs to the lighthouse church, so a prayer house was built. A typical coastal church feature is a model of a sailing ship, commemorating all of those lost at sea and a reminder of the men still out there. We are here because of Park Victory. There's a silver 10-light candelabra to remember the 10 men that drowned when the American cargo ship Park Victory sank. Framed on the wall, there's a letter from the American embassy thanking the people of Utto for their bravery saving the lives of the crew of Park Victory.
Express to Your Excellency my warm admiration for the heroic actions of the townspeople of Utto in the rescue of the crew of a sinking American vessel. Then the same townspeople took into their homes for shelter and for nourishment the survivors of the shipwreck. And it's thanking the Finnish people for their courage and seamanship.
Only recently, the island of Utto also became famous for being the first rescue station for the Estonia ferry disaster. We saw the children's memorial in Estonian island of Hiiumaa just a while ago. We are just north from the accident site.
Nice to see other people work.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Nature first.
The centre of action on the island is the shop and post office. Good service here in many languages, and we make the most of it. We receive faxes, buy food and t-shirts and send postcards.
There are no mosquitoes now. This is the old.
I think it's new one.
Finnish lighthouse.
Utto.
And surprisingly, it looks like my size.
Yeah.
In the next episode,
Lots of techniques we learn in cave diving can be used in wreck diving as well.
And if you breathe the wrong gas, you die.
we say goodbye for now to Charlotte, Per and Tor, and everybody starts heading back home.
Say your goodbyes now.
In Finland, we meet diver Jussi Karsinen
Okay, so you went to check out this site.
Yeah.
and find out about the latest theory about the collision between submarine Lembit
But here, look what we have here.
and the German U-boat U-479.
I liked diving so much that I didn't come out of the water.
Kurt Meidra tells about the future of diving in Estonian waters. Tanja and Kimmo take a ferry to Sweden. Swedish diver Per Åkesson tells us about a mystery wreck.
An intact 18th century ship standing.
We see the amazing bridges of Denmark, the gateway to the Baltic Sea. We are in reflective mood and look back into the Baltic Sea adventure. Back in England, we talk with Lee Bishop and his diving crew. The discussion continues between the divers and archaeologists about the cooperation.
There have been lots of good cooperative projects between professional archaeologists and sport divers.
Hi guys, how's things? Hi. Hi.
Baltic Sea Adventure.